I think ways to go about that though, like
Right.
ways to go about making changes in our community if you are part of that climate change group. Not protesting by sitting in the middle of the road, blocking traffic, stopping people from getting to the hospitals. Yeah, there's a video I was watching earlier of a guy. He's on what is it called? Not probation. He's on.
Oh, parole.
Yeah, he's on parole.
Yeah.
He's trying to get to work, and like if you don't, what is it? If you later you get messed up, you go back to jail. You have to finish your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying. So should he go back to jail or prison or whatever?
Nah, he shouldn't, because that's a situation that's like outside his control. But occasionally you do have like what do you call them, the parole officers that can be kind of fickle, and they won't even care.
I'm glad it's recorded though, because I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah.
If you told me somebody was blocking the road, I'm like, especially in you like, it was a pregnant lady blocking the road. I'm bro, you lying. Like, you making this up.
Yeah.
I want to show you the video real quick. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on.
Hey, ma, go, ma, bro.
You see the soft for the old lady.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that, like, that's dope how he was like, despite the situation, he still was like gentle with the female. But then it's also that thing of like when it comes to guys that Jordan Peterson talks about it, where he says that level of violence that is like just below the surface of any interaction between two males, and you can see that right there.
You gotta do backpack.
Yeah, it just snatched it.
Out here pregnant, on the ground in the freeway, girl.
The climate situation has now gotten so big that just doing normal things isn't going to work anymore. So
The crazy thing is, because like, you would agree with him though, right? Like, you would agree that we need to find another way, that there's something more that can be done, but it's like the route that you're going about to accomplish it is wrong.
and ensures that they have a future they can inherit. So we need more people to get out and to block these roads to raise awareness.
Like, I feel like they use like your sense of justice, your sense of goodness against you. Like, of course, there's nothing wrong with caring about the place you live. You want to care for the planet, but the way they have you go about it and the solutions that they're implementing don't make any sense. I watched a video before, right? I watched a video earlier. I gotta give credit. It was a New Yorker going off, and he was saying how stupid the climate change thing is. He was like, he got a cup. He said he got a plastic cup and a paper straw. And I said, a straw, very small portion of the whole setup. Maybe let's say it's like 10%. So he was like, why do I have a paper straw that's gonna eventually melt, pretty much dissolve into my cup? Why not give me a paper cup and a plastic straw?
I get what
You
you're
have
saying.
more
I get
if you
what
try,
you're
if you
saying.
actually care. And I think it was Ben Shapiro covering it. He was saying it's not about efficiency or anything like that. It's not about caring the planet. It's about suffering.
Right.
That's what it's about. I want to make it as aggravating to you as possible.
Right.
Like, I don't think they actually care.
Well, nah. It's hard to really say that they do care, because it's like we were talking about it earlier. If you do that call back to the Palestine Ohio event, that was the perfect time.
Oh yeah, train derailment.
Yeah.
I posted that in there too.
Yeah, like that was the perfect time for all of the so-called climate change awareness people, all the go green and all of that extra stuff. That would have been the perfect time for them to not just show up, but to actually do something, like in the community, do something for the planet Earth, for the people that were legitimately suffering because of this, not being inconvenienced by sitting in the middle of the road.
Yeah. And this was a genuine emergency.
Yeah.
Something right then and there. Like, with climate change, they're saying like, oh, in 50 years, in 5 years. Like, there's articles from like the 90s saying like, hey, in 2000 we're gonna be underwater.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of hard to judge that based. You know, they give me this wide time, but I'm like, the train derailment. There's chemicals flowing in the water right now. So it's like, why not step out and protest and bring attention to that? But not even saying some of the people who doing it don't care about the planet. It's just like, what, you're complaining about the wrong thing.
Yeah, like there's a better way to go about it.
Yeah.
And like even on that flip side, so it's not like we're just riding them this entire time. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the establishment, like we all know that like this whole thing with petrol, with oil and all of that stuff, that it's really a money thing, because like realistically, if you listen to people like Dr. Stephen Greer, Bob Lazar, you know what I'm saying? Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. Like, they've talked about stuff like 0 point energy and stuff like that for years now. And we have access to it. So we can completely bypass the whole notion of nuclear energy. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have to focus on that, because like, and even in that's a cleaner, safer, more realistic thing. You know what I'm saying? But then the problem with that is people are stupid, and then it kind of is like when you add in that human factor, nuclear energy is kind of like, because people are stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about attacks on the power grid, well, that would be attack on the nuclear grid. Yeah. When you think about EMPs and stuff like that, well, that could potentially cause like a nuclear fallout, like multiple scores higher than Chernobyl. You know what I'm saying? But then when you think about 0 point energy, or if you think about stuff just on a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like on a more basic line of thought, is something else that we were talking about, and I was looking for it, but I couldn't think of how to word it. So like again, something that we were talking about not too long ago. So we live here in Florida. Florida is known as the Sunshine State. Okay, solar panels. You know what I'm saying? Large solar panels, and figure out a way to incorporate that into everyday society. I remember you mentioned buildings, like new construction buildings, new businesses, new homes and stuff like that. When they're built, it is automatically integrated into the infrastructure of that building. Yeah. That solar panels and stuff be added to it.
We can't just cut off oil. Like, I'm glad you brought up like the 0 point energy. So I love that we can, like, what I was looking up now a minute ago was on Tesla, like spreading energy wirelessly. Yeah. And we can speculate on it and say like how cool it would have been, and what we should have done. You know, we've had electric cars since the 70s, so we should have been, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just woke up, and this is how the world works. Right. So I'm like, whether we like it or not, it runs on oil. Right. So, and not just the U.S., you know, the world runs on oil. So, if we're going to transition to something else, you can't just turn it off. You can't just turn it off. Right. So, like what you was getting at before, but the better way to implement it is don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, you're going to have, from now on, let's say we implement laws that every new building has solar panels on. Instead of cutting down trees, which don't make any sense, you're going to cut down trees to put, farming sunlight, put them on top of buildings. Make parking garages where, I seen it at like some amusement parks where it's like,
where they have like it's like almost like a sun blocker.
I was gonna say like an awning.
Like an awning. Same difference. Though.
Yeah, and it's like over the top, and it blocks out the sun, but also is capturing, sunlight. So that way it powers the park as well. Right. And then you can keep your car at least a little bit cool. Right. So that should be a thing. So what about that? Or adding it to existing buildings. So even if we're still using oil, let's say hypothetically, we only have 100 years worth of oil left. If we're adding in solar and wind and everything else, you can cut that will or extend that time frame. By that time, if it gave us 200 years, we'll find something new.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll cut down on destroying the climate.